In today's video, I'll be ranking all 13 Logia type devil fruits and their 14 users. I'll start with weak 1 like Caribou and Smoker, but later we'll get into admirers and Yonkos.
そんなに恨めしい顔しちゃやだよお姫さん
Bottom spot of this ranking undoubtedly goes to Caribou. The Nuba Noma Nomi he ate allows him to create, control and transform his body into swamp. His transferred body has characteristics of a mud, but it is arguably closer to quicksand, which allows him to absorb things into it. As all other Logia users, he is insensible to non-Haki attacks, but he himself can't use Haki. His physical strength is also not great, as Luffy, Chinbei, X-Drake and Pekamos all had managed to one-shot him. And he is mostly portrayed as a joke character, so seeing him in the bottom isn't a surprise. But although it looks disgusting, I'd have to rate his fruit 4 out of 10, 12th among 13 fruits, just because it allows Caribou to have infinite amount of space inside his individual body, which can be pretty useful, but that's all what it is.
戦闘力と勝敗は別物でしょ
Next on the list is Monet, the user of Yuki Yuki no Mi, also known as Snow Snow fruit. She had a very high level of control over her powers and her elemental body that are rarely seen among Logia users. She could compress and solidify her snow, allowing her to create durable snow barriers, ice-like snow blades and even transfer herself into large snow monster or covering the entire battlefield in snow to give herself advantage. She also had the ability to make someone fall asleep or lower their body temperature, leaving them weakened. So basically she had a lot of abilities, but she didn't quite manage to get that into next level. She did not know Haki, and at the end she was no match for Pankaj or Zoro. I would rate her for 5.5 out of 10, in ranking 11th due to it being massively versatile and useful, but the scale of her attacks not that great. The introducer of Logia Devil fruits, Smoker, was pretty scary pre-time escape, but it's not the same way after time escape. He had Moku Moku no Mi, which allows him to become and manipulate smoke. He can fly and use his smoke to surround his opponents to trap them. He can also use smoke as a blunt weapon to shoot powerful jets of smoke. But to be honest, it doesn't have any good abilities. Smoker has Haki knowledge and decent speed and physical strength enough to hold someone like Virgo for a while. But we have never seen him winning a battle. Hancock, Law, Luffy, Doflamingo all basically bullied him. And his devil fruit is even worse, 3 out of 10. Dead last because it don't have any good abilities, plus his smoke itself make him easier target for opponents who knows Haki. The last person on this tier is Caesar Clown. He is a user of Gasu Gasu no Mi that grants him ability to create, control and transform himself into various chemical gases. He can create gases that are extremely poisonous or even remove oxygen in a certain area. He seems to prefer keeping his devil fruit ability active, as he is always either completely or partially gaseous. He can also absorb other gases, causing him to greatly grow in size as well as take on the properties of absorbed gas. He managed to give decent fight to Luffy, mostly using his devil fruit and knowledge. But his physical attributes are pretty bad, and as Source goes on and on, he becomes even more Zog. I would rate his fruit 6.5 out of 10, putting it in the same ranking as a user, 10th spot. Let's get into next tier of characters with most recent reveal, Karasu with his Susu no Mi. It allows him to create, control and become the natural element of soot. Find black particle of carbon residue created by incomplete combustion of organic matters like wood, coal, etc. On transforming, he mostly molds his suit into shape of flock of crows, as well as breaking up the elemental body into them. Karasu also possesses the ability to use both armament and observation Haki, although it was yet to be seen. We haven't seen much properties of his fruit, so as of now I will rate it 7 out of 10, putting it into 9th spot, but can go higher. Crocodile is tough one to say as of now. If it was pre-time skip, I would definitely not rate him this high. But after time skip, I have hopes that he had improved a lot, mostly because his importance in his story as a founder of Cross Guild. He had Suna no Mi to become Sandman, and his abilities like creating sandstorm, making multiple bladed weapons out of sand or absorbing the moisture out of any objects or being are pretty scary. It isn't revealed if he knows any Haki or not, but I'm positive he knows armament and observation after time escape, and he deserves this spot here. His fruit itself is also scary and pretty much invincible in sandy areas as we speak earlier, but it has one major weakness. If any moisture like water or blood come into contact of user's body, user immediately reverts to its solid form and won't be able to transform. So 7.2 out of 10, 8th in ranking. Next is Enel with his Goro no Mi, which allows him to become lightning. He can use a variety of lightning based attacks either by channeling lightning through his body or by striking the drums on his back, and his power is said to be invincible. He is also capable of creatively using his devil fruit to raise the temperature for transportation or even restart his own heart. Enel sometimes is highly underrated since he was defeated by pre-time skip pre-gear Luffy, but that's only because his all devil fruit abilities were completely useless against Rubber Man. He had proven himself being miles ahead of Luffy by inserting multiple characters who were almost as strong as Luffy. However, he sometimes is also overrated, mostly because how good his devil fruit is. It gives him great offensive power of up to 200 million bolts, speed of lightning, destructive power that can even destroy an island, plus Enel was able to use observation Haki and read electric signals in the air from far away. So based on his overall feat, he deserves being this much high, and if he returns, he will be even higher. And the devil fruit itself definitely deserves the top tier spot. 9.8 out of 10, second best Logia Devil fruit of whole One Piece.
お前は昔からそうさルフィ
Seventh spot on my list is Protagus the Ace, and he is most average Logia user of the whole list. His Mera Mera no Mi allows him to create, control and transform his body into fire. He could create an endless massive amount of fire that had power to annihilate the entire cities, as well as utilize small precision attacks. His signature attack was transforming his fist into fire and sending it forward as it greatly increased in size, earning him the name Fire Fist Ace. His flames could also be used defensively. Ace also is among handful of people who can use all three kinds of Haki, but his Haki isn't that impressive. But his Devil Fruit is pretty good one. I rate Mera Mera no Mi 7.7 out of 10, putting it into 7th rank among 13. Next is a man who defeated Ace, Blackbeard with his Yami Yami no Mi. For the sake of this video, I am not including his Gura Gura power since it's Paramecia type, otherwise he most likely will be first or second. But even without Gura Gura no Mi, Blackbeard is pretty strong. He defeated Ace without much of issue, and that's when he had recently acquired Devil Fruit. Now after time skip, Blackbeard definitely improved a lot. His Yami Yami no Mi allows him to become and control darkness, which can basically absorb anything including any Devil Fruit powers. Unlike normal Logia, Teeth cannot turn intangible. In fact, any damage he takes will actually hurt worse than normal. But this disadvantage is nothing compared to the advantages this Devil Fruit provides. So I would have to rate this unique Logia fruit 9.9 out of 10. The best Logia Devil Fruit. Second Mera Mera no Mi user is Flame Emperor Sabo, and within this short period of time, Sabo has shown us what he can do with it. He initially showed difficulty controlling his powers, but within just couple of months he had improved heavily. He is also a great armament Haki user and master of Ryusoken. Feat-wise, he managed to escape after fighting with 2 admirers at once, as well as from arguably the strongest character of One Piece, Emu. Definitely deserves being on the same tier as other admirers, and maybe he is even higher, who knows.
勘弁してよやだぜ俺
Remaining 4 are all marine admirals, starting with weakest one, Aramaki, aka Ryokugyu. Ryokugyu ate Mori Mori no Mi that allows him to create, control and transform his body into plant life, and honestly most of us thought it being zone type, but well, it's Logia. He can generate large quantities of plants unless overwhelming large scale attacks and even dehydrate living creatures. As plants are solid elements, he cannot turn intangible, although non-Haki attacks are still harmless to him, which is a bit confusing. As a marine admirer, Ryokugyu is a highly skilled Haki user, although it's yet to get much focus. His Devil Fruit is a bit confusing to rate, but as of now, I would rate it 8.4 out of 10, putting it into 6th spot. Kizaru is bronze medal winner with his Pika Pika no Mi, and the single most impressive thing about this fruit is the insane speed. It allows him to create, control and transform his body into light. Among other things, he is able to move, travel and perform kicks at the speed of light, shoot laser beams with insane accuracy and blind his opponents. As well as for the close combat, he can solidify the light into shape of massive sword. Kizaru easily beat almost all worst generation supernovas and fought with Old Lady, where he seemed to have upper hand. He can also use advanced armament and most likely advanced observation as well. His Pika Pika no Mi is pretty good and deserves 9.7 out of 10, securing 3rd position just like user of it.
あららちょっとごめんなあんちゃん
Aokiji is second one. With his Hei Hei no Mi that allows him to create, control and transform his body into ice, he has proven himself as one of the strongest characters of One Piece. Although recent manga chapters aren't in favor of him, it can be understood since it's Garp he's fighting against. In his scale, Kuzan was shown making small swords to fight in close battle after freezing an entire sea for multiple days. He easily overwhelmed Luffy before Water 7 in Doflamingo in Punk Hazard. He had also a small clash against Whitebeard and later defeated Zozo. But by far the most impressive battle was against Akainu. Although he loses, they fought for 10 days, which shows his stamina. We still haven't seen him going all out, but I have feelings that he had already awakened his devil fruit. Well, let's wait and see that in future. For now, I'll rate his fruit 9.4 out of 10 for being highly versatile and useful, putting it in the 5th spot. And so far, the strongest Logia Devil fruit user of whole One Piece is undoubtedly Akainu. His Magu Magu no Mi allows him to create, control and transform his body into magma. His magma is extremely hot and highly explosive, thus making it well suited for combat, allowing Akainu to burn, melt and destroy anything in his path. In fact, among all devil fruits, Magu Magu no Mi is said to offer the greatest offensive power. His greatest feats were defeating Aokiji in his battle against Whitebeard. He managed to destroy Whitebeard's stomach and burn his half face, while he himself did not suffer from any permanent injuries from that battle. Yes, Whitebeard was old and sick, but that was still a Whitebeard. And due to how destructive and offensive Magu Magu no Mi is, I'll rate it 9.5 out of 10, putting it in the 4th spot. Akainu has big role in future, and he might actually have conquered Haki, which I talked about in this video, where I ranked all 18 confirmed and 6 unconfirmed conquered Haki users. This is it for this video and see you there.